Hi and welcome to my video. I plan to introduce the modern technology artificial wombs. First of all, according to Wikipedia, artificial wombs, also called artificial uterus or synthetic wombs, are a device that would allow for extracorporeal pregnancy by growing a fetus outside the body of an organism that would normally carry a fetus to term. This technology of the artificial wombs can affect the society in a variety of ways. According to GK Today, this technology could affect the world population, further remove the high burden of pregnancy, and more. In this video, I'm going to explain artificial wombs and its effect in 6 different parts. It will be divided into the history or origins, its design, function, and the 3 different communities that would get the most effect from artificial wombs. But before I move on, I would like to introduce the reason why I chose this technology and my opinion of why this technology would gain huge impact in the future. The reason why I chose this technology was because many countries like Japan, Bulgaria, and Korea are currently experiencing low birth rates, especially due to the COVID pandemic. According to BBC, especially South Korea, as it recorded the world's lowest fertility rate again in 2022, the fertility rate dropped again to 0.81%. A declining population can put a country under immense strain. Apart from increased pressure on public spendings, a declining youth population also leads to labor shortages that impact the economy. Also, in 2020, there was widespread alarm in South Korea when it recorded more deaths than births for the first time. As these issues are arising, I thought of the modern technology artificial wombs as they will largely support boosting the population. First, the artificial wombs were developed in a long process, starting from NICU and a baby incubator, adding on more diverse technology pertaining to the design and function to the final technology artificial wombs. According to the Encyclopedia, the initial step towards the invention of artificial wombs was baby incubators made in 1857 by Jean-Louis Paul Deneuse, a physician who worked in France. According to Wikipedia, he published a description of an infant incubator with his own incubator design and was the first physician to describe its utility in the support of premature infants in medical literature. His design consists of a large metal tube with a smaller metal tube set inside. According to Healthline, he described the incubator as something designed to provide a safe and controlled space for infants to live while their vital organs develop. Moving on, the next main development was the term ectogenesis, being coined by a British scientist, J.B.S. Haldane, in 1924. According to an article from Vice, he coined the word as the growth of an organism in an artificial environment outside the body, particularly outside the mother's body. This would normally be the growth of an embryo or fetus, or the growth of bacteria outside the body of a host. He predicted that by 2074, this method would account for 70% of human birth. Next, in 1955, Emanuel M. Greenberg, a mid-20th century New York doctor, filed a patent on the design for an artificial womb. According to FPO Free Patent Online, the patent included 2 images of the design for an artificial womb, and the design included a tank to place the fetus filled with amniotic fluid, a machine connecting to the umbilical cord, blood pumps, an artificial kidney, and a water heater. According to Human Life Review, his design included extensive explanations of how each part of the design would function, with a description of what each figure meant. According to Next Nature, artificial wombs keep their umbilical cord and placenta attached to the system. Although there is no evidence that such a machine was ever constructed, it still highly supported the development of reproduction and gender technology and the current close to fully developed artificial wombs. In 1996, according to the New York Times, the world's first artificial womb experiment was led by a professor called Yoshinori Kuwabara at Juntendo University in Tokyo, who developed a system called EUFI, extrauterine fetal incubation, and he used a premature goat fetus for the experiment. According to Next Nature, In EUFI, the researchers take goat fetuses and supply the fetuses with oxygenated blood while suspending them in incubators that contain artificial amniotic fluid heated to body temperature. This system kept the goat alive for 3 weeks in the lab until other technical difficulties emerged. Moving on to the 21st century, as work on complete ectogenesis started after 2002, in 2015, a group of scientists from the University of Michigan made the world's first artificial placenta. According to Mayo Clinic, an easy definition of placenta is an organ that develops in the uterus during pregnancy. According to NNN and The Guardian, there were some risks in handling undeveloped lungs since they were too fragile even with the gentlest ventilation techniques. However, they thought of designing an extracorporeal membrane oxidation (ECMO) system or artificial placenta that uses a pump to circulate blood through an artificial lung and back into the bloodstream, which played a significant role in decreasing its risks. And since the placenta is a key organ that keeps the healthy growth of a fetus in the womb, this was a major development as well. Finally, in 2017, the most important development to this technology occurred. According to JME, in 2017, a Philadelphia research team in the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia revealed the closest thing to an artificial womb the world has ever seen, the biobag. The study uses fetal lambs which are then placed in a plastic bag filled with artificial amniotic fluid. According to Deveridge and Nature, 8 fetal lambs continued to develop in Ziploc bags with tubes of blood and fluid, which were wombs. Over 4 weeks, their lungs and brains grew, opened their eyes, became more active, made breathing and swallowing movements, and many more. According to The Guardian, this could be a solution and an extension to the current methods which are using incubators and NIC, as they have limitations like the issue of babies having to breathe to get oxygen in their lungs, but their lungs aren't ready yet and it damages the pulmonary alveoli.
And according to an article from Wellcome Collection, this is actually a serious problem that may end up with lifelong problems with their lungs. According to BBC, having matured outside their mother's wombs, these lambs with no significant abnormalities of the lungs, brain, or heart could be shown as a successful experiment with correct functions. This shows the high chances of this technology being in use for premature babies in the future and the consideration of use on humans. Moving on to the design of artificial wombs. According to Neonatology, the first incubators created by Jean Lewis in 1857, as said before, were developed into a modern incubator as the image shown above. According to Frank's Hospital Workshop, a fan blows filtered ambient air over a heating element and a water container. There is a hinged hood that can be opened to put the baby in or take it out. Through portholes in the front, the nurse has easy access to the baby without letting out the warm air by opening the hood. After the desired temperature is set by the nurse, it is kept stable automatically by the incubator. The incubator has a safety switch-off function when the temperature increases 40 degrees. Also, an alarm is given when the fan does not turn in case the power fails. And some materials in these incubators are fans, filters, heaters, temperature, humidity, and oxygen controls, alarms, and etc. The design for an artificial womb, also called the plastic biobag, is a scientifically devised design. According to The Guardian, the device is comprised of fluid and oxygen carrying circuits and an artificial placenta connected to a biobag containing artificial amniotic fluid. According to Rion Gravitas, the artificial womb consists of the growth chamber which hosts the fetus. It replicates the same environment provided by the mother's uterus. A sealed bag or sealed system is also contained to prevent outside exposure and the risk of infection. It is the incubation chamber that provides the optimal temperature and humidity for the growth of the fetus. There is another container that provides the fetus with a constant stream of blood that is rich in oxygen until the moment of birth. The artificial womb is filled with amniotic fluid, which is the liquid that surrounds the fetus inside the mother's uterus. This liquid is rich in the essential nutrients that are needed to sustain the unborn fetus inside the womb. The growth chamber also features advanced sensors coupled with artificial intelligence. These sensors monitor the fetus's vital signs during the development process, which include breathing and heartbeat. The artificial womb also features a screen which displays real-time data on the development progress of the fetus. Inside the growth pod, the fetus is kept for 9 months until the full course of development is reached. There are also 2 bioreactors for the design, one that supplies nutrients and the other that disposes waste and eliminates any waste products from the babies into the second bioreactor. According to TUE Cursor, during the Dutch Design Week, there was a model of the artificial womb's design. The child will be inside of this ball and grow. Then you will be able to see the child suspended in the fluids as if it is in the uterus. Also, it is made to be impossible to see the child because according to neonatologists, the children will need privacy and having darkness is scientifically more effective. For the artificial womb's functions, according to BBC and The Guardian, the external wombs work by the lamb first inhaling and swallowing amniotic fluid by the growing fetus, as would normally happen in the womb. Then, the fetal heart pumps blood through the umbilical cord, which is linked to the artificial placenta. After that, oxygen and nutrients are supplied in, and the placenta and waste products are removed. Finally, the blood is returned back to the heart and this process continues on. This technology affects 3 major communities. First of all, this affects the community of gender minorities. Firstly, a majority of people, especially women who are related to pregnancy, believe that artificial wombs affect them in a positive manner. According to BMJ, artificial wombs provide a safe gestating space that eliminates maternal morbidity and mortality while maximizing healthy outcomes for babies. According to Claire Horner, who is the Center of Ethical Ethics and Health Policy, due to the artificial wombs technology, which stands for AWT, it may facilitate women's equality, in particular income disparities between men and women after their first child's birth, burden of pregnancy, equality in workplaces, and more. Plus, according to The Guardian, giving birth can endanger the health of older women or women with certain health conditions. And the graph shows how women are facing economic factors like income disparities. A controversy claim was made from the National Library of Medicine, which stated that some feminists and women view ectogenesis with skepticism, saying it will hand over women's sacred birthing ability to science, which shows how people have various thoughts on the usage of artificial wombs. In the close future, when the AWT gets further developed and can be accessed by any woman in need, women will be able to work without the discrimination that may occur due to constant absence in their workplaces or restrictions and issue with health issues. The AWT would affect the social and economic barriers for women, leading to a more ethical society. According to The Guardian, Arathi Prasad argues that this technology will give men an essential tool to have a child entirely without a woman. She furthermore argues for the benefits of same-sex couples and states that the divide between mother and father can be dispensed with a womb outside a woman's body, which would serve women, trans women, and trans male same-sex couples equally without prejudice. These artificial wombs also affect society bioethically and politically. First, stating the political effect. According to The Guardian, currently about 22 weeks of pregnancy is the earliest any baby has survived birth. But 80% of babies born at 23 weeks and younger do not survive, and for the 20% who survive, by being alive in incubators, may issue significant health issues which may be a result of their immature organs. Additionally, according to Technology Review, about 1 in 10 births in the US are premature or at least 3 weeks before a baby's due date.
Of those, around 30,000 each year are critically premature, which leads to those babies having to risk lung problems as well as delays in physical development and learning. However, according to an article from New Scientist, the lungs are not the only concern for premature babies. The brain also needs medical attention. This is also an issue because 37 to 40 weeks of gestation is needed for the brains to be allowed to provide support for life outside the womb. Also, according to PBS, currently there is a 14-day rule that prevents human embryos from being kept in artificial wombs longer than 14 days, and this rule has been codified into law in 12 countries. So, this is a current limitation on further developing the artificial wombs technology on the use of humans and premature babies. These artificial wombs, however, may also affect the people in poverty negatively. Looking at this technology in an economic way, according to World Building, artificial wombs must be housed in specially built facilities where all these steps must take place. This creates a very expensive process from start to finish. The excessive high costs have led to them only being affordable by the wealthy privileged elite. In addition to this, many conservative advocates and other people have taken matters into their own hands, attacking and attempting to sabotage. This would lead to economic inequality and polarization, and the gap between the rich and the poor will get worse, not even being able to be born the same way. In conclusion, these studies are encouraging but have limitations. The devices have only been tested on small sample sizes for short durations. Further validation of results is necessary in repeated longer studies. Moreover, the outcome of these studies should not be considered sufficiently promising to allow use on human subjects without significant refinement. Nonetheless, according to The Guardian, a fully functional artificial womb will undoubtedly present entirely new ethical dilemmas, including some we may not yet be ready to negotiate. According to BBC Real, the ethics involved will need careful consideration, so we should be very thoughtful and have open discussions because there is a huge benefit involved. We also have to be mindful of the incredibly complex nature of running one of these systems, since you need a large number of extremely highly trained individuals and fairly vast resources to run the system.